Hi guys, how are you today? Welcome back to another video. For today's video, we are doing a few more pages in my 365 Days of Art book by Lorna Scobie. If you missed the first two videos, I'll link the first above and in the description box, so check them out and let's go ahead and get started. The next day's prompt was to draw someone from memory. A quick disclaimer is I'm terrible at drawing from memory. Like looking in my brain and trying to come up with something, I almost always have to have a reference. The second disclaimer is I'm even worse at drawing people. As you can see there, I tried to draw her open mouth and it just looked terrible. So I drew this lady with a hat on and she started to come together kind of, but I was really unsatisfied at the way she was looking. So I came in and I added some lines. I just kept building upon what I had, trying to make her look like a person. I mean, at the end, I guess she ended up looking like a person, but honestly, it was just really ugly and I was ready to move on. I don't like drawing people, but I do appreciate that this book gives me the opportunity to practice and draw some things that are out of my comfort zone. So here I am just filling in the lady, and then that prompt was done. The next day's prompt was to draw a collection of vegetables. This is a prompt that I was much more excited for. I had this idea immediately in my head, and I think it was something I saw maybe on Pinterest or somewhere. So my idea was to draw this sort of cross-section of vegetables where they were in the ground. Various types of root vegetables. So here I am just drawing out some root vegetables, and my idea is, along with the cross section, to do, as this book, as I said before, is something that gets you out of your comfort zone and does things that you wouldn't normally do. I decided to do what's called a crayon resist or watercolor resist, whatever you want to call it. And basically you take a crayon and you draw the areas that the paint or the water is going to be resisted. So there's going to be no paint there. So here I am, I'm just outlining the vegetables the way I like them. I want the inside to have some paint on some of them, but for most of them, they're just going to sort of go over it like a wash. And you'll see here in a second when I grab my paintbrush what I'm talking about. I added a little dirt to give it a little ground. And then that stage of the drawing was complete. I had to run off to the bathroom and grab some water because I don't have a sink in my art room. And then I painted in the various leaves, and you can see, it's a little hard to see on camera, but you can see that the watercolor doesn't mix with the crayon. So it gives this really interesting texture. And then I went over with a quick wash and just filled in the dirt to make it look more like ground. Lastly, I came in and I filled in the sky. The next day said to continue to add details to the feathers and leaves using line. I came in with my Micron fine liner and I just started adding these details and lines to this parrot. This very much reminded me of doing the reverse coloring trend that's going around, how I had a bunch of loose colors and I had to make sense of what were feathers, where the feathers started and where the feathers ended. Of course, this one definitely is a parrot. There was no other way really to interpret it, but it was fun to try to figure out where to draw the feathers, how to draw the feathers, especially to differentiate them and try to make it look a little different. It definitely reminded me of that trend. And it was definitely challenging to do because some areas were a little more muddled than others and clear where the feathers were. So I just came in, I traced everything. I was getting it looking nice and parroty. And this reminds me of a bird we used to have. His name was Billy Bird. Isn't that a silly name? I guess kids come up with goofy names. And he wasn't a parrot, but it gets me thinking a lot about him and how much I love birds. Did you guys have any pets? What was your favorite pet growing up? Maybe you have a pet now. I'd love to hear from you. Comment down below and let me know. And then some of these pages, one thing I really enjoy about this book is that some of these pages already have a picture on them and they want you to add to it, which I think is great. It's a nice way to exercise and get you thinking outside the box. That was 3 more days in my 365 days of art book. What do you guys think of this book? Are you enjoying me doing this? Do you want to see other prompt books? Comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, comment your favorite page out of today's prompts. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you for the next video, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!